Hey everybody, it's time for another edition of 10 underrated horror movies. For those who are sick of seeing the same movies on every video, or articles written by the future of mediocre content, here are some you may not have seen that deserve more attention. Starting with Mara. As a cop film, this has about as much to offer as a rating from IGN. Every scene with the cops, the crime scene investigations, the banter, all of it is just going through the motions. And while we're on criticisms, the intro is cheesy and stupid. And yet, I think it should be watched more, talked about more. And for me, it's better than the dreadful reviews imply. Because as a horror flick, more specifically as a horror flick about sleep paralysis, this has muscles to flex. As someone who does experience sleep paralysis, Mara is by far the most accurate portrayal I've seen. They get all the details right, the panic in the eyes, the fast breathing, the feeling of pressure on the chest, and the instant sensation that something malevolent is in the room. The film takes this real-world affliction and simply takes it to the next level, making the imagined threat real. That, combined with the step-by-step timeline of this curse, creates an interesting mix of Nightmare on Elm Street and Killing of a Sacred Deer. The lead actress does a good job, the paralysis scenes are scary as hell, and the film keeps a good pace once the plot gets going. Like I said, it has its issues, it's probably like a 6 out of 10 or maybe 7, but for a spooky rental at night, I would highly recommend this. Unless you actually do get sleep paralysis, then I would watch this in the daytime. Next is Would You Rather. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed this one. We've seen many movies like this. Pompous rich guy plays a life or death game with his guests. What makes this stand out is just how entertaining it is to watch this escalate. The specific games, the body count, how the rule makers become the biggest rule breakers, all of these made sure that the plot never got stale. It was easy to imagine how I would navigate these scenarios, and no matter the choice, it always feels like the hand is stacked against you. It's an unfair game, and for a horror movie, I think that works very well. The acting is mostly good, especially during the more panicky, painful moments. A sequence involving someone being hit with a stick is genuinely hard to watch. Unfortunately, Sasha Grey's performance is about as convincing as Rachel Zegler acting humble. Normally I'd say something sassy like, "This feels like porn acting," but yeah, you got me there. The main villain is the right level of scene chewing. Not like Mark Hamill in The Long Walk, who's a freaking scene gulper. This guy is more like a scene nibbler. It's just the right amount of hammy joy that fits the character. When you're at home, maybe with a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, or maybe with some pals, and you want something fun, fast, violent, and maybe a little trashy, Would You Rather really hits that spot.
You must slit open your eye. You can use this mirror if it helps.
No.
That's it.
That's it. No, that's not it. No, I can't do this.
Lucas.
I can't.
You made your decision. This is how the game is played.
I get annoyed when some movies come out and maybe they're sloppy or dumb or mediocre or straight up terrible. And the response from some people is this immature, circle jerk, knee jerk, "You just don't want fun. Turn your brain off. It matches the lore, therefore good. You just want some 3-hour black and white drama." And normally I would point to my undying love for Mad Max Fury Road, but now I'd also like to mention Mods, because it's not perfect. It's scrappy. There's a scene on a motorcycle that's stupid as hell, but I like the messiness because 1, it matches the pandemonium of the plot, and 2, this is a legitimate, all-in-one shot movie. Not only does this help excuse some shaky moments, but it makes it all feel so organic. It's like when you record guitar parts and you want to double the sound, you don't just copy and paste, you actually re-record it. Those tiny imperfections make a fuller sound, and it makes Mods feel alive. For a one-shot film, I'm super impressed with how much physical ground is covered. Lots of transportation and movement in general. I like how the story switches perspectives, and the intro sequence in the car is a great jolt to get things going. Mods is bloody and frenzied and a lot of fun, and if you enjoy one-takes or zombie films, check this one out. Do you want a fun, campy horror flick that actually looks good and has a protagonist you want to survive? Well, here comes Final Destination 3, a film not well received when it came out and is often swept under the rug. It didn't have the novelty of the first film or the excellent opening sequence of the second. Yet, this is my favorite of the franchise. For fun, let's think of a film's quality like someone working out. Final Destination 4 fell asleep in the car outside the gym parking lot. Final Destination Bloodlines drew fake abs on itself with a label saying, "Quick nostalgia to avoid critical analysis." And Final Destination 3 has some sloppy form, but still tried a full body workout. Did that make any sense? This film dips a little more into the campy direction than its previous installments, and it appears to know it. The two ditzy girls are really overacting. The slightly goth kid with the death wish is straight out of Heathers. And speaking of gyms, the workout scene is hilarious. But it's the story and lead performance that really make this work. Mary Elizabeth Winstead does a great job at elevating what could have been such a simple role, and she conveys fear better than most. There's a scene where she has a full-blown panic attack on a roller coaster that is so raw and realistic that you'll start sweating every second she's still stuck in that chair. Final Destination 3 also has a nice clue-finding mechanic in its plot, utilizing symbols and foreshadowing in clever ways. It's the kind of detective story that's fun to follow along with. The kill scenes are fun, and the carnival scene is just a nice slice of chaos. Super underrated, check it out if you haven't.
Are you okay?
Next is The Perfect Host, starring Niles Crane himself, David Hyde Pierce. Okay, I just want to say up front, I am totally 100% Coldplay concert cheating here. Perfect Host is a thriller more than anything else, but not only do I think horror fans will get a kick out of this, but most people will, because it is wild, inventive, and at points gloriously entertaining, and I gotta talk about this one. It's a cat and mouse game between a bank robber on the run and what at first seems like an ineffectual socialite, who is revealed to be a psycho with a posse of imaginary friends. David Hyde Pierce is wonderful to watch. The character is a fractured man, a goofy victim, a popular party host, a depraved lunatic, and even more shades are shown later. The actor nails all of them and makes it look easy. It's almost like watching Ryan Reynolds trying to act like an agreeable person when you know a dickhead is one layer of foundation underneath. The robber is both empathetic and a little cruel, and he's played with a lot of charisma by Clayne Crawford, who really needs a new Wikipedia photo. I mean, come on guys, what is that? What I love is how the film switches between the real and unreal. It's weird, it's off-putting, and decisions like that give the film so much flavor. When the film deviates from this setting, it does unfortunately slow down, but everything at the house is fantastic. And holy hell, what an ending! An ending that's literally just body language. So yeah, it's not really horror. It's a cheat, but I'll take the angry comments if it gets more people to check this one out. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece or anything, but it is well-paced, clever, and weird. And honestly, we need more of that.
Follow my instructions and stay out of my way until morning. You won't get hurt. All right? You'll just be my accommodations for the evening. Okay?
Next is Inside from 2007. Where does one start with this movie? Inside is a home invasion film with an especially vulnerable protagonist, a heavily pregnant woman all alone at night. What follows is a hyper-intense sequence that pretty much plays out in real time, and it gets real violent. Every stab, every slash looks real, and the characters' performances not only make it look painful in the moment, but afterwards as well. I think a lot of slashers miss this, and I know adrenaline mutes pain to an extent, but watching this made me realize how fake the pain looks in a lot of slashers. So Inside gets the hurt right, but it's also fast, gives both the hero and villain some depth, and the first interaction between the two is pretty disturbing and memorable. I do question some of the editing choices, but Inside makes up for it in pure intensity. Even in calm moments, you feel like you can't catch your breath. Yes, Martyrs is a better and scarier movie, and you definitely need to bring a strong stomach to this one. But if you enjoyed Martyrs for its tension and viciousness, you've got to see this one. It's mean, it's raw, it's scary, and most horrifyingly of all, stuff like this has happened. Next is In Fabric. It's one of those strange movies where I didn't know it freaked me out until it was over. I was so entranced that I'd forgotten everything, where I was lying down, my room, the time of day, even the laptop I watched it on. So when the credits rolled, I was struck with this sudden rush back to reality, and only then did I realize how disturbed and out of sorts I was. Everything and everyone in this movie is trying to hypnotize. Commercials, a saleswoman discussing fashion items, maintenance instructions. It's all slow, coercive, and strange. This is about the almost cultish obsession with fashion and bargains. But rather than preach to you about it, In Fabric tries to lull you in the same trance as the characters. The twangy electronic music, the vibrant colors, that frickin' saleswoman, dear lord, it's a tumble down some 70s rabbit hole. And you emerge, either confused and irritated in a what the fuck was that sort of way, or like me, deeply fascinated and unsettled. Even if you have no idea what's going on, In Fabric is such a sensory trip that it hardly matters. If you want your horror slow and psychedelic, give this one a go. Next is Heretic. Yes, Heretic was nominated for some awards, but I'd still call it underrated because reviews were fine, audience reviews were mid, and no one talks about it. A quick elbow to the ribs first. I don't like the intro, which has some awkward dialogue, nor the ending, which feels unfulfilled and uncreative. In fact, I'm willing to say that the climax is a letdown too. Everything else is fiercely intelligent and enthralling. The acting is great. Hugh Grant sheds the adorable stuttering from his romantic comedy days and goes full professor. He comes across as both wise and warm, at least at first. This is the kind of suspense where you're trying to sniff out something wrong. You're on high alert, a deer with its ears pricked up. What's fascinating is that while the reveal that he's a villain is a slow reveal, he still keeps up the pretense of a kindly professor from start to finish. This is a villain who truly thinks he's the good guy. The other performances are also very strong and the characters are distinct. A huge chunk of this movie is a creepy lecture, and that may not work for some people, but I loved it. As someone who used to be more religious than I am now, I can see both the positives and negatives to organized religion without throwing a hissy fit. So I'm pretty much the perfect person for this movie. Just don't watch it thinking the movie is trying to convince you of anything. Man, do I wish people's go-to reaction to anything religious wasn't either taking offense or throwing spite. There's great stuff here. The analogies are sharp and visually engaging, and speaking of visuals, I love the production design. This room where the second act takes place is both a study and a sanctum. Heretic may not have the smartest bookends, but the meat of this is clever, well-researched, and incredibly suspenseful. And having a movie with some actual religious discourse already makes us braver than most modern films in general. It's kind of awesome.
Can we use your phone, please?
I don't have a telephone.
Next is Under the Shadow. The decade, 1980s. The location, capital of Iran. War ravages outside, and a mother and daughter must survive both the violence outside and the spirits in their building. This creates a unique kind of horror setting where both the daytime and nighttime bring their own unique danger. The spirits may come out at night, but during the day there's still a war going on. At one point, a bomb lands in the apartment and doesn't detonate. And seeing it lodged in the ceiling like that is tension incarnate. Personally, I don't think the film is that scary. The spirits are more interesting than spooky, but they are interesting, and the scenes use blankets to creative effect. Under the Shadow is well shot and overall thoughtfully presented, and the lead actress makes you understand how much weight sits on the main character as she tries to protect her daughter from multiple threats. Both Under the Shadow and Inside get a lot of mileage by focusing on more vulnerable people, and it's something I think more horror movies should consider doing. And yet, it's tastefully done here. The war is never a mere backdrop, but a constant danger and anxiety that hangs over every scene and every character. Never undervalue what time and place can do for your movie. And last up is It Comes at Night. If, according to the film It's a Wonderful Life, whenever you ring a bell, an angel gets its wings, then anytime a studio pumps out a misleading trailer, an angel loses one mid-flight. And for me, the worst trailers aren't the bad movies that try to hide being bad. It's the great movies that are marketed as a completely different experience, and so people feel betrayed and walk out pissed off. The trailer was jumpy and flashy and clearly implied a monster about to attack, but this is a slow, suspenseful, post-apocalyptic film about paranoia and disease. And here's the thing, it's a damn good one. There's some effective cinematography that's not just eye-catching but purposeful. In the driver's seat, watching a man through a review mirror for a long time implies mistrust. Flames reflected on the gas mask is about as potent a post-apocalyptic image as you can get. Many shots show characters almost swallowed by landscape, by darkness, like the world is closing in on them. All the acting is superb. Christopher Abbott is great as usual, and this is probably my favorite performance from Joel Edgerton, who naturally slips into this role as the gruff, cautious man of the house. He gets so many small details right. Every interaction between these two actors is just gold.
You didn't have to shoot him right away.
What are you talking about? They came after us!
Fuck. Do you know this guy?
Huh? Do you know him? You said you traveled 80 miles, you didn't see a fucking thing, and we barely get down, and then fucking
I've
happens!
never seen this guy before in my life!
This is nerve-wracking from the first frame to the last, and it is ruthless in its despair. It's a hard sell, but it's a hard movie, and honestly, I love it. I love being this invested in the characters, and trying to figure out who I can trust without the movie flat out telling me. And I love when character decisions make sense, when dialogue actually sounds like real people talking, and when someone simply walking downstairs to get a snack can look so ominous. So yeah, people hate this one, the trailer let it down, but It Comes at Night, I still love you, man. So those are more horror films that I think are super underrated. Did I miss any? Be sure to comment below with your own list and check out the Patreon link below to support the channel. I got a bunch more horror videos coming out, including my yearly edition of 6 horror films that are actually scary. You guys are awesome, I love the support, and as always, thanks for watching.